Mr. Pete contacted me a couple of weeks ago. We've been repairing the gym roof at Cecilia High, both the flat roof, which is over the locker rooms and the concession stand and that area, as well as the higher roof, which is over the basketball court. And about 20 years ago, we had the foam sprayed on the roof, the metal parts of the roof, and now that stuff is peeling back, so water's penetrating underneath, and can't repair that stuff. And so we're at a point now where every month, every 6 weeks, we've got a new leak popping up, they're patching it. In the last couple of weeks, they've been unsuccessful in patching because it's underneath that foam.
So when was the foam? Yeah, I thought it was gonna be there forever.
About 20, I was at the junior high as a principal when we sprayed that stuff. About 20, maybe 22 years ago. So.
And the other disappointing thing that happened during this past bond was, if you remember, the roofs were underneath the parish projects. Well, when you're looking at the schematics and everything, they had the Cecilia High gym. They even had the price, it was gonna be $300,000. And come down to the end of the bond, when you got close and close, all of a sudden, the project got disappeared. It disappeared. I don't know where it went to. And it was never addressed. You know, that was the disappointing thing about it. And, but you, I mean.
And speaking to Mr. Pete, we have a point now where it's getting to the point where it's beyond repair. Some parts of the gym where that foam is sprayed, we're at the point of almost having to put a tarp over it because you can't, the crack in the foam might be way up here, but the water's penetrating way down there. So it's difficult to determine exactly where the water's getting in and also to seal it, because there's so many cracks in the foam.
It's probably rusted.
The foam works great until it separates from the tin. It separates from the tin, water gets in there, then it stays wet.
It has been up for about 20 years. So we did the same thing at the old construction center.
Exactly.
Now, is there still any, what I'd like to see is that there's still any money in the parish-wide fund to kind of offset the cost of that, but there's probably hardly anything left in that.
That would be something we have to look into, the bond fund, and come back.
They still have good, it's just the same. The whole concept of when you spread out the parish-wide funding is take care of all the roofs that you're supposed to. Kind of like the air conditioning. When it came down, kind of the bottom line, you got over there, had the air conditioning unit, and it was part of the project. And that's what it goes back to.
So we just requesting permission to go and get some design.
I'm involved.
Okay. Second. We don't get a motion. A motion and a second. Typically, that's what we do.
Motion by Mr. Poche, second by Mr. Poche. There's a vote. Motion passed. In regards to the roof, I think you could get a better feeling for what is up there. I've gotten contractors since I've been here. I've gotten 3 contractors to take a look at it, and when they see the foam, they just put their hands up. They said, "It's not. We don't touch it. We can't fix it. We don't touch it. We're not going to talk about it." And for you to get a visualization as to what is up there, I can get the lift and get you up there and take a look at it. Let's say in an area about the size of where you're sitting there may be 10 cracks. Now, are they all leaking? I don't know, because once the water penetrates and you have the foam underneath, and then once the water gets into there, the deterioration of the metal under there, the pre-existing metal roof, and then your purlins, you don't know what you have until you're gonna take the whole thing off. I have one other contractor next week that I'm gonna get up there and take a look at it to see if, he said there may be one other alternative. So we're gonna see what he has to say. In the meantime, I'm getting prices to, when you start tarping something of that expanse, you can't, I'm looking at some 50 by 100 tarps. To where when you tarp it, you're coming from, let's say, the beginning of that, the lower tier to the end. To where you're tarping the entirety of that to take that out of the equation as the leaks. And then just this past week and a half ago, it started leaking over the gym floor. So now it's gotten up into the upper tier of the gym. So over the next months, you'll be seeing I'll try and get some green tarps if possible, but you'll be seeing tarps that you see on hurricane roofs. And that'll be the moving forward until, if the decision isn't made to change it out, this is going to be the progression of the roof on that gym.
Is there a problem, the removal of the existing roof?
How big of a job is that?
They'll have to skin it down and then come back with a new metal roof on top of that. The deal is right now, you can't even see the rivets because it's all foam. So, what's that?
Well, the foam is on top.
The foam has been put and broadcast on top of the steel, so you no longer see the steel, you're
I was
seeing
thinking
the.
the foam was underneath.
No, the foam is on top, so you see 20-year-old foam, which through the weather has cracked. It's all over. So where is it leaking? We don't know. And then, so there's no quick fix, and then even in the fixing, the construction process of it, it's not, it can't all be done in the 2-month period of the summer. So we'll need to, if we're gonna do this thing, get a design and a time schedule to where possibly some of this can be done and certain areas of the lower part may be condemned during the latter parts of the school year, with the completion to occur during the summer. It's gonna be a work in progress to even time this thing because of the function of the gym. So it's a major project, but it's something that's not, you gotta have the gym, and it's just, unless we just talk the whole thing and just continue kicking it down the road, that's our only option.
Is there a possibility of re-roofing over that?
No. From the 3 contractors I talked to,
Yeah.
no. That's, like I said, I'm gonna get one other opinion next week, and I can bring that to y'all attention, and then y'all can make some decisions from there.
Mr. Natchez, all right, for years, I don't know who they are, I'm not promoting, but there is a guy, Miller Roof, who are trusted, and he is someone here, not on the school board, but the industry, that to me, if he would come in, and give us some kind of estimate, if he's good at business.
That was part of that roof, if I remember.
That is correct, but he has gone all over and served as saved money for businesses and the food board.
You know, junior high and Cecilia.
That's correct.
You brought up something, this was before, but you said when they sprayed that foam, you thought that was a lifetime thing.
So,
Was it?
It's still approximately 20 years.
Because you would, that's what they said?
Yeah.
They go on board at the time.
It was 20 years or so. Hey, we about 20 years on that roof.
It's going to last longer than metal. Metal is going to last 40 years.
But that roof was old and leaking. Anything at that truck stand, they were leaking. They were there for like 30 years already. So we just changed the roof. We spent a few extra dollars, and it would come back the next 10, 20 years and change.
20 years.
So it's 20 years.
Number 2E,
I'm on board, so.
consider and or recommend action with regard to creation of 4 positions in the maintenance department for the purpose of cutting grass and the campuses throughout the district. Mr. Manager.
The July meeting, the board terminated the contract with lawn services and directed staff to go back and do a study and then make a recommendation to the board about hiring additional employees. So I got with Mr. Daresel and Mr. Delton, and this is what we've come up with, 4 additional employees that would be working through the maintenance department, with a truck and a trailer with lawnmowers and lawn equipment, and divide the parish in half and create a map of each school site. And these crews would go in and cut the bigger areas at the schools, and the custodians would still have their lawnmower and their weed eaters and stuff. They would do the smaller areas closer into the building. If you take Cecilia Primary, for example, you have that big, huge playground. It probably takes the custodian a half a day to cut. Well, that's what these crews would do. They go in and they just hit the big areas, and, you know, they weed, poison, take care of all of that, and then the custodians will handle the smaller parts closer into the building. You'll ask us to come back with a recommendation, and that's what we come up with.
Would be like 4 separate little units, or 2, or they working about 2?
You have two teams.
Yeah, first of all, thank y'all for giving that, you know, the information back, and I think that's the most, I think in the best interest, because I had 3 board members that I spoke to about this that was not completely sold on it just yet. So first of all, I'd like to table it until the January meeting, because we're at the end of grass cutting season anyway, for one thing. And I think we can look at it as a board and make sure that we understand. And I'm gonna be honest, the main complaint that I heard from the other guys who were hearing this from the community is, well, why aren't the janitors getting it done right? Why are they getting it done in this school, but they're not getting it done in this school? So I think and the bottom line is that some of them will complain, and again, they're hearing it from their teachers and their constituents, that these janitors will hide in certain areas. You know, okay, shoot the messenger, shoot me. I'm just telling you what's being said out there. So maybe before we jump into adding more people to go hide in other places, we need to probably make sure that these people are doing their jobs first. Because I'll be honest, the Cecilia area, since our custodians took back over, I haven't had a chance to go in the Forage area, but the Cecilia area, the yards are looking better. So I would like to at least postpone it till, or table it till January, because we're at the end of the cutting grass anyway.
Well, basically, I'm almost at the same food as Mark. You know, to have a grass cutting, maintenance, these 4 people, the grass grows from May all the way to the end of September. You know, October, November. You know, I'd like to see maybe maintenance / you know, and tell these individuals if they're gonna be some grass cutting from October, November, December, it won't be 100% grass cutting. So we need electricity, we need carpenter helpers, we need, pressure washer, painter helper, you know, we can put it flat. And although they don't know how to paint, they can become apprentice with the paint. Although they don't know electricity, they can be apprentice with the electrician, or with the plumber. And, you know, basically, that's what's gonna happen. You know, I like to see.
They got help, they got
notify them, who got that?
Who got the maintenance crew? They got help, somebody would get 3 guys helping the
Three,
other.
well, of course, they got help.
Yeah.
But
So what, the helpers are gonna be watching the help?
no. Well, I'm saying when they're not doing that, when they're not doing
Sometimes you have emergencies, you need extra hands.
you always need that.
Got a motion on the table.
I got a question.
Okay, second, do the motion there.
Have a motion by Ms. Davis.
Motion on the table.
I want to say something. And still at some of the
Hold
schools.
on, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
I have a motion on the floor to table this to January.
Second.
I second. The second, by Mr. Kelly.
Okay, like at some of the schools, like I'm gonna just use Forage Junior High. There's only 1 full-time person there, and I think 2, 10-month. So I think we need to put like another full-time there, because I think that's the only school that doesn't have like 2 full-time people.
We're talking about grass. All they mainly have to do is cut the football field out there, right?
But no, but we're adding more buildings. It's not just grass cutting. You understand what I'm saying?
That was the whole purpose of this. I mean, that's what I was.
Well, I thought we just wanted to add more custodians to help cut the grass at the school.
People that cut the grass.
Assist the maintenance department.
Yeah, but we still need help at the schools though. Some of these schools have added more buildings,
Yeah, but it's a different.
but you still need to, you know, like Forage Junior High doesn't meet up with all the other junior highs. They have more facilities too. Parks Middle, you know,
It should be the principal that likes that.
well, they put it it on the agenda, and I thought that's what we were supposed to be doing, like hiring more, because I think Mr. Full T had wanted to hire, like, what was it, 13 or 14 custodians at the schools, or 17? I thought,
That was a comment.
They did a study.
okay.
I wanted to study to see if that was more feasible than hiring the rest of them. And then
Yeah,
when it
but I
came-
still think
then we went ahead and we asked them to look into it. When they came up with this, which I think is a good idea,
Please call for the question.
Call for the question.
Okay.
That means call for the vote.
Let's go.
All right.
And we're voting to table it and table.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, motion passed.
Can I make a comment?
Go ahead.
Table it till January, just to bring you up to date on lead time on vehicles. We have no vehicles to pull these trailers that will be pulling the lawnmowers. I got 3 trucks, two trucks, a van, and 3 trucks and a van that have over 200,000 miles. Okay, so some of them got 230 and 250, practically spent. You need additional trucks to be able to facilitate what may be coming forth in 3 or 4 months. There's a 50-week lead time on trucks right now to go through state contract. So just to bring it to your attention, if you intend on making a decision in January, and at that time decide to buy trucks, you're a year away from getting the trucks I would need to be able to facilitate the project as you're talking about it now. Just to bring it to your attention.
The next item is for, purchasing trucks. So we'll take that.
We're just talking about the people.
Actually, what I was gonna do is, if you're not moving forward with the lawn item, the trucks were to support the lawn item.
Right.
So,
But if we do not hire, we can still be here.
yeah, at some point you're gonna need trucks, because as Pete said, it's gonna be that.
Item 2F.
We'll find a used car like mine, that's a truck.
maybe you get a couple of used trucks to pull you on the
Because
road.
you're not gonna get a truck until September next year.
Okay, item 2F, consider and/or recommend action with regard to the purchase of 2 maintenance trucks for grass cutting crews, piggybacking off the city of Alexandria.
They will move it till January.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Abear, second by Mr. Stelling. Any discussion?
Yeah, are we having a little problem with maintenance trucks? Don't we need them if it's a good price?
We still need some trucks.
Need some trucks down the road, right?
Yeah. We had put that before.
Maybe Mr. Abear,
Let's look into some used trucks.
We have a lot of them at the school that just need to buy them.
Yeah.
But I give you guys this list right here, indicating that we had 6 trucks that's over 200,000 miles. And, we kick the can down the road, as per Mr. Peterson. So,
We need to.
now,
Regardless,
wait a minute. There's another thing, now we wanna add 2 more trucks for the maintenance group, so, and I did some research. We can piggyback off Alexandria, the city of Alexandria, and get the trucks delivered at courtesy. Contract, state contract. So they're going for, the F-150s are going for $29,508.25. Times however many we wanna get. So that's where we at.
I'll make a substitute motion. And we go ahead and buy a couple of trucks, just to replace the ones that are about to fall apart. And what's happening, these trucks are going in and out of the shop, and it's costing us money for parts, labor, and who wants to ride an old truck that might be in St. Martinville and you live over here, you're working over here? I say we go ahead and buy them while they,
It's 50 weeks out.
yeah, well, I think the substitute motion ought to pass because we need to do something about it.
Okay, I have a motion by, Mr. Fuselage to purchase 2 trucks, a second by Mr. Dorio. Anybody else want to make the discussion?
I had a written motion.
Substitute
Substitute first.
voting on purchasing two trucks.
I'd like to spend money.
Motion passed. Item 2G, consider and recommend action with regard to group health plan changes. Please restore.
Last month, I presented some changes to y'all, and this is one that, accidentally got left off. And it really, all it is doing is removing a 50% penalty that falls to the member if something isn't pre-certified by a doctor's office. Instead of it falling to the doctor, it falls to the member. So we're saying if it is deemed medically necessary to remove that penalty, so it's not penalizing our members.
So basically, if we're saying that if the doctor says that that is I definitely have to have surgery,
Right.
then.
And they didn't do the paperwork to get it pre-certified and went through with surgery. There's a penalty that falls to the member, yeah. So we want to take that out of the plan,
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
move to accept. Second.
Motion by Ms. Fairbanks, second by Ms. Boosie. Vote.
Move to adjourn.
Well, before you adjourn, on the trucks, Mr. Darrell said he needed 4 trucks, not 2. I just wanted to- Yeah, but that's what he was asking for.
What was the motion, Steve?
It was, he said 4, Steve said 4.
He didn't say that.
He said he did.
I said 2, but it's kind of public.
No, that's 2. Can we go back on this? What's wrong with you?
Well, he said he needed 4.
You can motion to reconsider that?
Yeah.
Somebody on the prevailing side in the same session has to.
First of all, to me, he made a motion today, which is not debatable. If it's not debatable, we shouldn't have a substitute for it.
Is that correct?
The motion the motion to table is not debatable. They weren't debating the motion to table, they were debating the substance. You want point of order, a call for question, you have to ask those things. The motion the substitute motion, the amending motion is
The substitute motion is nothing else but amend the motion, right?
correct. It's a motion to amend, it's all substitute.
How can you amend a motion that's not debatable?
But I do have a question.
Well, first, can we ask the maintenance supervisor? What is he is the person that knows more than anybody else who knows that they're.
Will reconsider. It has to be somebody on the
Prevailing side.
side, that will change their mind.
Mr. Jimmy Durio asked if we could reconsider. I said, yes.
It was said just before we could even say anything, it was voted
So he
on.
wants to consider to, with the opposite?
No, he wants to, much to reconsider is from
To
2 to 4.
reconsider, he don't want to change.
Well, put it this way, I can correct all that. First of all, that motion was unquote. When the motion to table overrides all the motions, you have to vote this, vote to table, completely out. A motion to table is on the table. Well, I knew, but that's not my business.
It's not a debate. When you say it's not debatable, it means you can't debate whether or not it should be tabled or not. You can still amend the motion. Those are 2 different things.
Amend his motion?
Yes,
You can vote the
Okay, that's what
table
we did.
motion.
Can we now reconsider?
yes.
The amount?
You
Who
can,
has to do that?
somebody on the prevailing side can have a motion to reconsider what was done.
I'd like the motion that we, well, first of all, I'd like to hear from our maintenance supervisor, how many things we need.
We need 4 trucks.
You need 4 trucks. Okay, I'd like to say that we get 4 trucks instead of 2. Can I get that?
First you have to offer a motion to reconsider.
Okay.
You gotta get a second for the reconsider, and you gotta vote, the board has to vote on whether or not they want to reconsider. And that's wrong. 5 majority.
Motion to reconsider.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Durio, second by Ms. Boosie. We gotta vote on it.
Yes, sir.
To reconsider. Okay, motion passed.
Now I'd like the motion that we purchase 4 vehicles, 4 trucks.
That's a motion by Mr. Durio, to purchase 4 half-ton pickups, a second by Mr. Vidal.
Open for comment.
Okay.
To make sure that they take care of these vehicles. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, we bought one, and when you go look at it, I'm not gonna say their names, but we go and look at that truck to know that there's not that long that that truck was bought, and to look at the condition it's in, it's horrible. Never said it before, but y'all wanna start pushing? You talk about the deplorable conditions of these vehicles, where's the operator?
Well, if you make 200,000 miles on a vehicle, that's going pretty good.
Dude, I got 200 on my car.
Yeah,
It's still really.
but you don't have to go out every day and go do things in different areas, start and stop. There's a lot of things involved.
You look at the vehicle. 300,000 miles, 200,000 miles, how long you been having a vehicle? How long you been having a vehicle? 2006, 2003? Shit. I had 2000, what?
Okay, we have a,
18.
let's go.
I had it before 2022 at the base.
We have a motion on the floor. Second.
Mike, let's vote, if he wanted to make a comment before we vote.
Before you, things move pretty fast here. I think there is a need. Before Mr. Darasell, the operations supervisor, and Mr. Al, the one that oversees the entire thing, and then you're making a comment, buy 4 1/2 ton vehicles. You know, before you make a comment like that and interlock exactly what we're forced to purchase, I need to sit down with these two guys and explain to them what's going on and explain what I think is needed, what they intervene, they've been here longer than me, what they think we need. And, you know, just to say we need, you know, yeah, we need some trucks, but I want to make sure that whatever we purchase, we need a van inclusive of those 4 vehicles. I think we might need a van. So if you say we need 4 half-ton trucks, we limited on, we're not even buying what we need. Or 4 half-ton. I may need a 3/4 ton in there to pull, you know, so before we're limited in what you say up there, I would like to be able to.
I would like to make a motion to table and let staff get together and decide what type of vehicles, including the CFO, to make sure that it's in the budget, to come back and either the next meeting or the meeting after with a plan.
And I'll say,
I think that would be the prudent thing to do. Make a upon after due diligence and seeing what we need. Come forward.
To piggyback on those individuals, Mr. Darrell, how long you had? To piggyback on Darrell.
No, for a year.
Oh, yeah.
About a year. But what I'm saying is, the lead time on getting the trucks, it's ordered tomorrow.
It makes a lot of
15 weeks out.
But Mr. Darrell, compared to a 150 and 250, you know, I find out the reason why I was burning my motor every 2 years, because I was using 150 while I was 250. That was different. So I'm letting you know, these guys might talk about they got 300,000 miles, but hey, well, my load I was doing, let me tell you, I needed 250, not a 150.
Right.
So you might have to reconsider and see what you need to do.
Different price for that.
So I have a motion by Mr. Abear, second by Mr. Fulton. I'm sorry, Mr. Now, you always confuse
So you withdraw your motion?
we got a substitute motion, right? Keep motion on the substitute.
All right, let's do more.
We have a substitute motion by Mr. Dorian.
Purchase for. Yeah, we're voting on a substitute motion to table it with our.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so staff can come back with
A recommendation.
So we got to go.
That's been put on the agenda.
Voting on table,
Table is, when we have that.
information.
Correct.
Okay, motion passed.
Motion adjourned. Second.
Abear, take care.
All right.
the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the many blessings we have in St. Martin Parish. We ask your continued protection from storms and to help us in the upcoming school year. Please guide us tonight as we meet as a board. In your holy name we pray. Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Announcements, affirmation.
No announcements this meeting.
Okay, we'll go to subscript, employees of the month.
This month's employee of the month is not really one person, it's a group of people. About a month ago, we had a group that went to the Early Learning Center and volunteered and did a bunch of work at the school, painting, pressure washing, donated items to the school. Ms. Jessica Landry was the one who recommended this, so Ms. Jessica, if you want to come up, you can speak a little more about it. They're the Early Learning Center volunteers, but I'll get her to elaborate on who they are and what they do.
Our staff members that are here for the ELC, please come up so you can be recognized. If you can join us, please, the ELC staff members that are here. Miss Alice, come on up. Come on. You're here. This is Miss Denise, Miss Linda, Miss Alice, Miss Linda, and Mr. Lincoln. So we had a lot more staff members that came to ELC than this. Miss Wanda, you come on up. You were working with us as well. Come on up. Yeah, you come on. You gotta get in the picture. Anyway, you can see the number of people in this picture. All of us, our staff team is at the bottom, but this is almost 200 people that came out to the Early Learning Center to assist us. They assisted us in items like painting the front of our gym. They painted the interior part of 2 of our buildings, the first grade hallway and the pre-K hallway. They assisted with anything exterior, interior. It was a beautiful process. It was wonderful, very organized, wonderful team. And I want to say thanks to Mr. Pete too, because he helped to make it possible. He had to do some behind the scene work to help us get things organized so we could have the core teams come in and help to lead. So thank you, people that came on Saturday. And this is the reward, so thank you.
Is there any addition or addition to the agenda? If not, we have a consent agenda. Is there any item any board member want to discuss from A to N? If not, we'll hold on to consent agenda. Motion from Steve, second by Mr. Coty. All in favor? Any nays? The motion carried. Item 4, Finance Committee recommendation. We have a motion by Mr. Coty, second by Mr. Fusilier. All in favor? Vote. Any nays?
That's all.
Yeah, that's all of, that's from A to D. That's your table. Okay, motion carried. No nays. One nay, Mr. Nay, Mr. Floyd. New business. Presentation by the county agent regarding LSU Ag Center. Annual report. Come on up. You can face the audience. Or you can face the board. You go ahead and face the audience.
Either way. Do we have a clip there? Okay, we're happy to be here once again in front of you to tell you about the good work we're doing at the LSU Ag Center. with y'all's support and the support also of St. Martin Parish government and the LSU Ag Center. Our staff has changed a little bit this year, so we're gonna go real quickly over who's working in our office now. I'm still doing the agriculture and horticulture work. I've been here in St. Martin probably about 10 years now, doing those programs. But we have some changes to our 4-H and youth development program. Ms. Hope Guidry, who had been with us for about 15 years, passed away this past year, and we've been fortunate to get her position replaced. We have Ms. Ashley East, who's with us here today, that you'll hear from. She's a new 4-H agent. She actually started this week. Tuesday was the first day. So she'll be here talking to y'all about some of the 4-H programs, along with Ms. Erica Poirier, who's been working for us for probably a few years now, first as an assistant to Ms. Hope, and then now working as a 4-H agent as well. We have also, who's not here tonight, but we'll be going over some of her programs, our family and consumer sciences and SNAP-Ed leader, Ms. Jessica Randazza. And then we also have an administrative coordinator at our office, Ms. Leah Basherman. Okay, when we look at St. Martin Parish crop acreage, it's pretty stable from year to year. This year we'll end up with about 32,000 acres of sugarcane that's going to be harvested. We have about another 7,000 acres of fallow ground that farmers are going to be planting this year. And that's pretty stable from year to year. It looks like we have a big crop this year. Lining is actually supposed to start next week. And feel like we need to start early because of the amount of volume of cane, not just in St. Martin, but throughout the state. We're growing more sugarcane now in the state of Louisiana than we ever have in our history. So it's important for the mill to start early because the later you start, the later you finish, and the weather in January, February, it'd be quite unpredictable if grinding ends up going too long. Soybean acreage jumped up this year. They had a big increase in a lot of the commodity prices like soybeans, maybe partly due to the conflict in the Ukraine, and some of our farmers tried to take advantage of that. I planted a few more beans. As you drive around the parish for the last few weeks with all the rain we've had, it hadn't been that great of a soybean harvest season. Beans looked great early in the year. We had some timely rains in some areas where the beans did pretty well. We did have a little drought this spring that impacted some of our crops a little bit, but for the most part, our biggest problem the last month and a half has just been too much rain. Hasn't hurt the cane necessarily, but it's kept us from planting cane, which is going to be a big problem as we move into having to plant and harvest at the same time. The soybeans has just been too wet. It's causing beans to rot. We haven't been able to get them out of the field. Similar situation with rice. About 4,300 acres of rice. A lot of our rice has been very difficult for our farmers to get that rice harvested because of all the inclement weather we've had. So hopefully we can get some dry weather. Our cattle farmers can make some hay, and we need things to dry out so we can get going again. When we look at agriculture in St. Martin Parish, it's a big economic driver. Usually worth somewhere between about $60 million and $100 million to our parish. So it's important that we have strong agricultural presence in our parish, but it brings a lot of dollars in, not just in terms of the agronomic crops, but when you look at crawfish ponds, bringing about 15 million, and we also have the beef cattle, horses, and animal enterprise is also bringing millions of dollars. We also have a big beekeeping industry here, usually brings about $500,000 into our parish. A lot of people don't realize that we're one of the bigger parishes in terms of honeybee production in the state as well. Some services we provide at the office, I like to think of ourselves kind of as problem solvers. When some of your clients maybe have a question about their lawn, their vegetable garden, that's what we help them with. So, send people our way. If they want their soil tested, their water tested, if they're not sure what's causing my lemons to have spots on them. That's the kind of thing that we do. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Erica, and she's going to cover Miss Jessica's part about our nutrition program, and you'll also hear from Miss Ashley as well. It's the middle button.
Which one? The middle button?
The middle.
Okay, the nutrition education, had a conference this week, so, Ms. Jessica wasn't able to be with us today. The first slide is, showing the first picture, Parks primary students planting a garden because it's a garden-based nutrition series that they were doing. And then the second photo is of a pre-K class doing a nutrition lesson. And then we have the Cecilia Library Nutrition Program that included the story walk trail from the park next door to the library. And then last, you would see the Spice of the Month. That's something that they're doing in collaboration with the St. Martin Parish Library System, that they're gonna have a Spice of the Month that they're gonna show with the suggested spices and the ingredients for different spices throughout the year. This time, I think it's Italian, if I'm not mistaken. So if anybody likes different spices, that's something to be aware of. Next, this is Healthy St. Martin. The first is the walking trail signs that were installed in 5 parks throughout our parish. I don't know if any of you do any of those walking trails and notice how interesting they are to read while you're laughing. The next dish across is the sausage and vegetable skillet recipe that's going to be used for the adult nutrition class. That'll have the Spice of the Month in there. And then there's the nutrition educator providing food sample and nutrition information at the Second Harvest Market, Groceries Mobile Market. Then next we talk about the Story Walk Trail, which is installed in 8 parks throughout our parish. And next you'll see a sign that has a QR code. If any of the children in your area walk this special story walk and they scan that QR code with their camera, they can receive a free book. Now, I'm not sure if it's the actual book that they just walked and read, but answering the survey and scanning that QR code, they get a free book through this series. And then the last is an upcoming family wellness flyer. It's a bike safety and health and nutrition information that's going to take part in the Veterans Park behind the Forage office. That is going to be a collaboration of a couple of groups, and that's going to be on the 24th from 9 to 12. So you can share that with your constituents as well. Okay, here are our 4-H youth development statistics for the year of 2021-2022. Of those counted here, the 21,516, St. Martin Parish had 529 participants located throughout the parish in 12 schools with 26 clubs. This is the breakdown throughout the state of how the grade levels are, K through 3, 4 through 6, and that's where our heaviest grades were as well. We had a lot of enrollment, 4 through 6, 7 through 8, and 9 through 12 just kind of plateaus a little bit because everybody gets into sports and extracurricular activities. So 4-H development, our program overview, we're going to touch on healthy living, science, engineering, and technology, agriculture, citizenship, and leadership, and volunteer development. Now, here's a picture of 3 participants that won outstanding club members from our past achievement day. Now, the show must go on. Our events throughout the year started with 4-H Fun Day, our livestock shows, challenge camp, fall fest, contest days, achievement day, 4-H University, honors night, workshops, and we did attend summer camp this year. We were back at Camp Grant Walker. We had 17 youth that attended 4-H University. We had 10 that placed in the top 10. Winning a variety of things, including trips and monetary awards. We had 32 participants that went to camp, including counselors and volunteers. We had 29 livestock exhibitors. We had 269 participants that, in the second picture, that's Achievement Day. And we awarded 75 outstanding club members our annual honors night. Now, our focus this year for 2022, 2023 educational, focus for Clover Buds is gonna be social emotional development, which we're gonna touch on kindness, gratitude, managing fear, keeping an open mind, self-image, and tolerance, and we're gonna use, the Dr. Seuss series, to shed this, touching with literacy and, doing interactive, activities with the third grade.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Ashley East. I am the new Forage agent here. Today is my second day here in the parish, but I come with 6 years of Forage background from St. Mary Parish. So I'm very happy to be here. I'm starting off with the 4th through 12th graders. Erica talked about the Clover Buds, the 3rd graders, and the 4th through 12th graders are going to do character now. So they're going to focus on self-awareness, building healthy relationships, communicating with empathy, making wise choices, expressing and managing emotions, and conflict resolution. Service learning focus. Every 2 years, our state office, the youth that lead or the leadership boards choose a service learning focus. And this is the 2nd year that we're going to do mental health. And we're going to do this with our junior leader club. That's 7th graders on up who choose to do an extra program outside of their school-based program. They're going to talk about learning what mental health is, mental health diagnosis, stigmas of mental health, and self-help resolution. Curriculum enrichment programs. So LSU Ag Center has several enrichment programs that are designed to help teachers outside of 4-H. So you don't have to be the 4-H leader or a 4-H member to participate. Any teacher can request this information, and it's free curriculum. They get the curriculum and all the lessons to go with it. So the different topics are youth wetlands, that covers 4th through 12th grade. Team Up for Tigers, which is K through 5. Seeds to Success, which is K through 12. Clover Buds Ag Awareness is 2nd and 3rd graders. Living Your Financial Experience or the Life Lesson Study is 9th through 12th. Life Skills cover with Clover Buds, that's grades 1 through 3. Stand Strong, Creating a Culture of Caring is 5th through 8th. And Health Rocks is 6th through 8th. So those are all the different categories that it covers, and any teacher can reach out and we'll send them the whole lesson series for free. They were emailed out beginning of the year to the 4-H leaders, so they have access to it, and they can share it with whoever is interested. Project clubs. St. Martin has 3 project clubs that meet outside of school time. It is the shooting sports program, the livestock program, and the junior leadership program. Last year, there were 99 participants in the shooting sport program, with 4 qualifying for the national competition in Nebraska. 41 junior leader members and 29 livestock exhibitors. Citizenship and community service. Junior leaders conducted a parish-wide hygiene drive for the homeless and were able to construct 132 bags containing these hygiene items. Some of the bags were brought to the St. Bernard St. Francis Pantry. Also, some of the items were donated to the Women's Shelter in Girl Bridge. The remaining items were donated to the Catholic Charities in Lafayette. So that's just some of the examples of what the junior leaders worked on last year.
Now you hear from a few students that are benefactors of the 4-H system.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Billy Parry, and I'm a 12th grade student at St. Martin Senior High. I've been a Forage program member for 10 years, and I just wanted to formally thank all of you for keeping 4-H in schools, because 4-H offers us activities and opportunities that we can't find anywhere else. Like, I'm in the shooting sports program, and I was one of the members who went to nationals in Nebraska. So we're offered trips where we're able to learn about leadership And I'm going to be going to Orlando in January for a leadership trip that I will be participating with other members of St. Martin Parish. And they will speak to you in a moment. But I just wanted to formally thank all of you for making 4-H happen and keep it going.
Okay, now I have a question. I don't even remember, but did you say your name was Forage?
Billy Party.
Sir?
Billy Party?
Yes, for you.
Was FJ grandfather?
No, sir.
I thought of Forage from Puerto years ago, and I thought he moved to St. Martin.
My grandfather,
FJ, his name I think was Furnace.
my grandfather is Brandon Party.
Well, when you saw that young man, you talking about years.
This is the business. Good to meet you, brother. It was good work. Thank you.
Good luck you get your act on
Oh, yeah.
Hi, my name is Olivia O'Brien. I'm a sophomore at Cecilia High School. I've been in 4-H for 8 years, and I've been a part of the Union Leader Club for 4 years. And 3 of those serving as an officer who creates all of the activities that we do. But 4-H is one of the biggest parts of my life. I've been in it since 3rd grade, and it's taught me so many things about leadership and citizenship to making friends and lifelong memories. And a lot of people think that 4-H is just about livestock and shooting sports, but it's about like learning how to be yourself and how to find what your calling is, I guess. And how to lead and be a leader and teaching other people how to do that as well. So that 4-H has made a really big impact on me and my family, and it brought us all closer together. So that's just what 4-H is.
All right.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Alyssa. J'ai 16 ans. Je suis très Cajun. And the biggest part of 4-H that's really impacted me is really the community and how it's helped me to further my exploration of my Cajun culture. My name is Alyssa Terrio, and I am in 11th grade at Charles Catholic High School, and I've been in 4-H since 3rd grade. And one of the biggest impacts of 4-H on my life has really been the ability to help me explore who I am. Through talent shows, I've been able to play my Cajun fiddle with my friends in our Cajun band, and I've also been able to do public speaking to really tell people about how Cajun culture has influenced my life. And furthermore, 4-H has really offered me opportunities to meet new people and to bond with other people from other states, and I feel like that mingling of cultures is really important nowadays because a lot of people don't have basic respect for each other. And I think it's really important that we get together, and at the end of the day, 4-H is one thing that everybody can have in common. And I think that sense of community and that sense of duty to your community is something that 4-H really instills in our youth. The fact that you can be there for your community and with community service and helping out with volunteer work, you're really there for each other, and I feel like that's one of the biggest impacts 4-H has had on me. Also, there's been multiple opportunities where 4-H has allowed me to compete with public speaking, and it has also allowed me to travel with competitions, such as recently I went to Georgia on a trip because of my portfolio that I made for 4-H, and I've been part of the shooting sports program for 4 years now, and I've been a shooting sports ambassador for all of those years. And being able to compete in shooting sports has also given me a chance to try something new and get out there, be active, be there in my community, and also explore Louisiana, because when you shoot for shooting sports, you never really know where you're gonna end up next. It's something really awesome being able to travel Louisiana with something that I love so much. So I'm really thankful for 4-H. Thank you guys for keeping it alive. It really does mean something to me, and I'm sure there's a lot of other kids just like me out there that depend on 4-H to be close with their community and grow as a person. Thank you.
Very well fluent to speak.
Thank you.
And Stella, everything.
Thank you.
Thanks for having y'all.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Who wants a clicker?
And we'll-
I just felt that was three very impressive young adults.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, we usually regroup one of those.
Move on to the next agenda. Discussion and action concerning special counsel resolution. Mr. Blanchard.
Okay, I'll ask that we defer that till after executive session, that we do legal counsel, I'm explaining to.
Consider approved Head Start policy council recommendation. The minutes, PC minutes, you have a recommendation. What's that next word? Anaphylaxis, stop. My glasses right there. Epidemic policy, early child care. Sam, Ms. Orange.
So these items, that you have recommendations or filling positions, that we had open. Policy Council did ask for a extension on having this Micah Brown Center Manager for both locations. So you'll see it again on the October meeting. We're meeting in September to add some information on that. And then, the policy is a requirement now by the state for type 3 childcare centers, which Head Start falls under that. So we're implementing this policy for, FMPSB, and then you also have in your packet the annual self-assessment report that was presented to the policy council at our July meeting.
Okay.
Motion to accept.
Motion, Mr. Ortiz, second by Mr. Steve. Vote. All in favor? Any nays? Motion carried. Consider approve the site for the cell tower on city primary property.
Okay, a couple of meetings ago, I had this item on the agenda, we were contacted about placing a cell tower on the property adjacent to the city primary. I was directed to go back to the company, see if they would move the tower off of the railroad there and into the wooded area. We've approved a location that meets that requirement, so I'm recommending we approve the cell tower location.
But did they change the amount? Yeah, they changed the location. It's something on the location, it's all right. Just dictated that one month?
Yeah, just that the amount hasn't changed, that's the rate is around 700 a month. But
You don't realize where the emergency was. And I said that for me, it never happened. You know, I was allowed to buy 1 acre and very thick. And all those people involved buy the whole thing.
All right. I can make a motion to approve it, but I'd also like to add to the motion that the dollar amounts that the subsidiary used from the bond money, which it was between, I would say it's somewhere around $70,000, if I remember right. For that piece of property, around 70 grand? And then around 70?
70 for the paid one?
I think so.
I think we paid 60, but then he had to use some money.
We paid $6,000.
For 70, but we swapped $70,000 with them.
Yeah, what I'm,
Which doesn't cost anything, we still have 17 acres.
we still took money out of the
Yeah,
subsidiary.
yeah.
All I'm trying to do is to recoup that money in the subsidiary. After that, huh?
They use 1 acre,
No,
What, right now?
that tower will be on 1 acre of property.
we have about 17 acres left, Richard, and it doesn't cost a thing. And it is gonna generate.
They're both missing the boat.
Yeah, well, I know it's bumping.
All I'm trying to say is recoup the money back in it that
How
we
many
used.
acres did we purchase?
It's right at 18 to 20 acres.
And we're using 1 acre for a tower, and you want to recoup the entire amount? What you say?
Why not?
I'm just asking.
Yeah, that's,
I
I mean,
can't go against it.
all you're trying to do is recoup the money, because after you recoup it, then the rest goes into the general fund. All you're doing is balance it out. Plus, we can put that on the roof. Then we're gonna have to, we'll have to put it, unless y'all wanna take it out of the general fund right now, and then just let everything go back into the general fund from the,
Take what out of the general?
this, whatever amount that that it costs to buy that property. There's not long we bought that
I
property.
thought it was paid for already.
Yeah, it was paid for from the
Buy,
bond.
bond money.
That money went against the city, no.
Huh?
That was the city's money.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
Why should the whole parish reimburse that?
No, but the revenue's coming in.
Or off of Cecilia Bryan.
Basically what, I understood Mark said, basically what he wants is the first $17,000, whatever he paid for the property, earmark it back to the bond.
But-
So that bond is being used, and then after that, and we're making some money off it.
Right.
The school is not used, but we definitely make money after that, then the money is split amongst the three, parishes. Cecilia, Forage, and what?
I would say go into the general fund after.
Yeah. Meaning to put the money back into the general fund after we get it, that. So I have Al check into see what that and I think it was $6,000, we had to prove that it wasn't, a flood or wetlands. And then go from there. Because a former board member kept on saying it was called a swamp, and it brought some attention up.
We got screwed.
And then Mr. Blanchard had to call in, we actually had to get the parish government involved and prove that it wasn't wetlands, it was actually farmland at one time. But it ended up costing us a little bit of money. It was the first and the previous season, so. So that's all I'm looking for, is just to recoup the money, and after that, it just goes back.
We have a motion by Mr. Abel, second by Mr. Knott. Vote.
Honestly, I think should be transferred now.
Well,
So can you for the roof?
well,
One wait, $500, $500 in here. Put you in one of those things.
If you think we'll have the votes, I never talked to anybody about it, it's just.
Anyway.
Well, let's go back. Would y'all be in agreement to take the money out of the general fund right now? And then once the tower starts producing money, it just goes straight into the general fund?
Pay back general fund.
Yeah, it's just paying back, it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just, you have the money in the Cecilia area right now to use for that group.
What did Ms. Broussard have to say about it?
That would actually be a lot easier for me.
Okay,
To just do one transfer.
That's the right way to go about it.
well, then let's do that. Take the money out of general fund to recoup, to repay the Cecilia area, and then this tower money goes straight back to the general fund.
we gotta change the rule. Yeah, we gotta change the rule, well, that's a good idea.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second, vote. No nays, motion carried. My eyes have got blurry. Okay, item E, consider approve on the policy regarding the use of the school board vehicle for travel to and from work. Mr. Blanchard.
Okay, a couple of months ago, I was asked to come up with a policy regarding school board vehicles. So, I did a little research, and this is the policy we recommend to the board. Basically, the departments that previously had vehicles, like the maintenance department, the IT department, those had been approved many years ago, that they continue to use their vehicles, and any other school board vehicles that are purchased, if anyone in the department wants to use the vehicle to go back to home, like, go back and forth to home, like maintenance or transportation does, that they come to the board and request permission to do that.
Okay, and then I asked, last board meeting, I wasn't here, and I was actually on the Zoom call, and I couldn't make any motions, so I think, Mr. Pulte, I want to thank you for postponing it until this month. The only thing I wanted to bring up, the other thing I wanted to bring up to the board members, basically, we have two vehicles right now. We have multiple supervisors, okay? And two supervisors get to use two of the vehicles, that they can go from school to school however they want. One was purchased in the food service department years ago. It was to replace a van, if I'm not mistaken. And when we voted to buy that truck, it was basically to transport goods. It wasn't to have the supervisor go from school to school to supervise the employees. The other one that was brought up is was it Head Start now? The Head Start program now has a vehicle, and those two supervisors, and if I'm wrong, y'all tell me I'm wrong, but again, this is people that complain to me, so I thought the board should know about it, is that they're able to use the vehicle to go and supervise all the schools that supervise. Whereas all the other supervisors don't have that vehicle. They get reimbursed on their, whatever their mileage is it 50 cents or whatever. But what I'm saying is, it's not fair to, two supervisors can have vehicles at their discretion, whereas all the other supervisors have to use their own personal vehicle. So I think either one or two things, we need to buy all these vehicles and tag on to the trucks.
Well, I can answer that, supervisor, Head Start. That comes basically when the Head Start director, whoever in charge, make request to the Department of,
And y'all use it like that when you get control.
They get
Now it's
reimbursed.
more in the parish.
They get, I know, but they get reimbursed directly from that program.
I know that, but what I'm saying is, you gotta treat everybody the same. That's all I'm trying to, that's the only move. I mean,
But it's, we can't write a grant and act that to give each supervisor,
I agree.
But
So you eliminate the supervisor from
you can do that. You can write and ask for vehicle for supervisor.
That's not fair.
Director.
because then everybody wants to be the Head Start supervisor. Just like everybody wants to be the parish now with a Head Start. So what I'm just trying to do is we need to clarify that if we want them to keep on using. My point is that if one supervisor can't have it, because I'm gonna tell you right now, and it's Mr. Bonon, if anybody deserves a vehicle that goes all over the parish, it's his and Fred's old job, that right there, because they go all over the place and they have to do house checks and things of that nature, even in their own. So that,
They get reimbursed.
oh, I'm sure they are, but guess what?
get mileage reimbursement?
You get mileage reimbursement, guess what? You still put wear and tear on that vehicle.
Everything over 200,000 dollars.
So I just wanted to point that out. I'm gonna make a motion on the floor that those vehicles are not to be used to go and supervise school to school. Now, if they need to transport goods like the food service department, use that truck. That was the intent of that truck, was to transport some type of goods and not use the big truck. And those who on the board remember that. And then with the Head Start, is to go and transport goods, if you want to use it that way. But I don't think that there should be anybody that should have special treatment.
They taking these vehicles home?
They were, but not anymore, he put a stop.
So who gets to take their vehicles home as supervisors?
Nobody anymore.
So nobody's taking vehicles, no managers,
Other
no
than
supervisors?
maintenance,
Oh, you're talking about maintenance?
maintenance and
I
IT. Those are the ones that were previously approved.
That was before, going.
And these two vehicles you're talking about, are they taking them home?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
So now you don't want them to have it at all, like when they go to different schools, when they come to work?
Well, is it fair that they have it and the other ones don't?
Well, I can remember, I think, food service, when she had to use her personal vehicle, like to carry food, because we
That's
didn't
right.
have a vehicle, you know? Right, Ms. Hazel?
Yeah, I use my personal vehicle, to
Yeah.
slide your all across the parish.
Right,
And transporting goods is one thing, but to go supervise, and just to supervise, that's a different thing.
but she didn't have a vehicle, so she was using
Yeah, I have
hers.
mandatory audits, like, I'm mandated by law to audit every cafeteria.
You were using your personal vehicle to do that, right?
At the beginning.
Right.
At the beginning, it wasn't that long, because we purchased that truck.
How long were you doing that?
For 4 years on my own.
4 years. That's a long time to use
4
my
years?
own vehicle. That's what she said?
Yeah.
Right, Al?
Because we
4
only,
years?
And my wife was a supervisor
I've been here 5 years.
before Mr. Pushy came in, my wife did the same thing.
Yeah.
So when something had to be delivered, she put it in the car and delivered it. And then
Because I think even Reginald was delivering stuff to his vehicle.
But it didn't make sense, because we've been having that truck a while, and she's saying 4 years?
We
When did
just,
you buy
we
that
just
truck?
got that truck in January.
He just purchased it.
Yeah, we
Just
just got it
purchased
in
that one?
January.
Okay.
Right. They didn't have one. So Reg and her, they were using their own personal vehicles
We have a policy.
to,
And that's why they got reimbursed, just like all other supervisors.
right. But that was,
That was what,
so if she didn't have to say, hey, I don't wanna use my vehicle, how who's gonna get the food delivered?
That's when you use
You
the
know?
big truck. We have a big.
They were using the big truck for something else, I think one was broken,
We
right?
only have one right now.
You only have one.
Again, but again,
It's been hard.
to transport things, no problem, that's why we bought the truck. But to use it to go supervising schools, that would be just equivalent to buying Mr. Bonhomme, Mr. Wills, all them a vehicle and say, okay, when you're gonna go, you're gonna park the car outside, you're gonna go into the city, you're gonna go on Brookridge, you're gonna go to Stevensville. We can't afford that for everybody.
Are you talking about the Head Start supervisor?
We also, that one also.
Don't they have their money to do
Mm-hmm.
what they want to do?
It's still taxpayers' dollars and we're.
It's
But we
their
afford
money.
I
it.
just think we should leave it like it
You
is.
should leave it like it is.
And that's your vote.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring it up because somebody.
Leave it like it is.
Yeah,
That's
most
the way it
people
goes.
complain.
Yeah.
It's up to,
But these, a lot of
It's
people
up
don't
to-
know what they have to do, what they have to go through to deliver some food.
I just don't think that they should have been taken home first of all.
Well, she was using her own personal vehicle. Yeah.
oh, but you got that? But, what else?
They Head Start do whatever they have to do.
No,
Got the
that
money.
policy,
But I'm recommending a policy that the existing, those pre-approved, maintenance and IT, use them as they've been using. Any other departments that purchase a vehicle that want to use it for someone to go back and forth from home to work, that they approach the board and request permission, either directly. Okay? Now, Mr. Haber is bringing up a different point about the use of the vehicle during the day. The policy I'm recommending is simply about going from home to work and work to home. So, right now, there's no motion on the floor.
So I'm gonna make a motion that the use of the vehicles are strictly for transporting goods during the day and no supervisor takes them home in the evening or to and from work. So if it's transporting goods, you continue to use it. But if it's to go and supervise people, no, it's not for that reason. That's my motion. And follow the policy.
well, but Hess said you have a problem.
Yeah.
Why?
I think so.
Because if policy council voted to get them a vehicle, then you're gonna go into impasse.
But I thought we were the ones in charge.
You're the one in charge, but the policy council has to agree. If they made a policy that supervisor can grant a vehicle, then that supervisor's gonna get a vehicle. Because you see, that's a federal funded program.
See, that's why they took that away from y'all.
So they're taking it away. They're taking it away. It's there right now. Now, we got to do as they say, we got to do the government body. We got the policy council.
Who's mine? Okay. Yeah.
But I don't, you can make the motion, but I still don't think that motion pertains to the Head Start.
I don't think so either.
Well, then you have to.
With Head Start, just I was, speak to Mr. Blanchard, and then bring it to the front of the board either okay it or not.
Okay, right, we leave that out of nothing, that's the policy council. If they approve it, then that means that by law, we have to get a legal opinion. We have to go to, well, he ought to know a little bit. No offense, yeah, he know how to talk.
Okay, so we're gonna pass it, motion on the floor.
Exactly, and then so you bring the policy.
Let happen.
Let staff
check into it, or come back with
then we
this.
can go to the impact of policy council and try to get the policy resolved.
It starts a different.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Davis. Second by Mr. Knott. And, y'all understood the motion?
No, I did not understand.
Yeah.
I didn't understand.
Well, the motion basically leave Head Start out.
Head Start, they gotta check into it, I'll come back.
That's, well, I'm not, I can't make all kind of motion, I'm just making a suggestion.
Yeah.
Call the vote.
I'll call the vote. Danny, nay, and motion carried.
So I have a question. If there's a bus accident, unless, in the past it was Mr. Darrell, he cannot use one of our vehicles to go see what happens.
He's gonna be one of them that was grandfathered in.
He falls under the maintenance
He
department.
you heard?
He was part
I
of
didn't know he had.
He falls under the maintenance department.
That was before we all started.
The other thing is, Mr. Chair, so he lives across the street.
I just think y'all talking.
Okay, move to item F, consider citizen request to appear before the board. Okay, before the citizen request to appear before the board, well, nobody, so I'm going to read
Citizens
it.
request.
Is that,
We
I'm
move-
sorry.
Okay, now here's what I'm gonna
We
state,
have it
say,
right here. Everybody's
okay,
here.
but look, let me read something. Before we have, because it might bring up a little discussion. So we want to just put a few things down. As board policy, each person wishing to speak or address the board shall be requested to fill out a speaker form, which is a little speaker form in either blue or yellow, whatever, and you give it to the secretary, which is on the left. And the speaker form is available, well, I just say, I'm skipping the gun. The person shall be afforded the floor not to exceed 4 minutes. After the introduction of the agenda item is voted on or before the discussion by the board members. When an individual has been recognized to speak on the agenda item, that individual shall be limited his or her comments to the matter that are strictly reliant to the items on that agenda. The president reserves the right to stop any comments when demand necessary. No dialogues between board members and the public shall be permitted at the board meeting except to clarify. The only time a board meeting member can tell you something is he's gonna clarify, maybe the superintendent is gonna clarify, but no comments or dialogue between board members or individuals. And any questions, you address to the board chair. Okay, person.
Richard, I mean, ask, I have an item on the agenda, so I put my hearing aid is really low. It'd be nice if any speaker would come up here to speak.
Okay, Ms. Celeste.
I'm in here.
Who would you like to come up first?
Well, I was just gonna come up and introduce the people and kind of what we have planned. So most of you know me, I'm Celeste, I play from Catahoula. I've kind of been involved in, the issue with the school since it's been closed. So we had a small group, I'm gonna put this down, I wanna read some things. We have got together with a small group of people from Catahoula, trying to figure out ways to reopen our school. That small group has turned into retired and former school board employees, parents, grandparents, concerned citizens, and business owners. Our committee has researched, contacted, and met with experts in several fields in an effort to bring programs not only to the children of Catahoula, but to the children, all of the children of this parish. We're working closely with these experts to not only bring back students who have left the parish, but also encourage students from neighboring parishes to take advantage of these programs. We have many plans in motion right now, but tonight we will focus on French Immersion. We hope to make San Juan Parish the hub of French Immersion for the Acadiana area schools while promoting our unique Cajun culture at Catahoula Elementary. I had more to say, but I'd rather let my people get their piece in. So with that being said, I have Peggy Fahy from Cotefield and Will McGrew with Tele Louisiana to speak to y'all about French Immersion and plans to assist in the reopening of Catahoula Elementary School.
Bonsoir. I'm so happy to be back in Saint Martin Parish. Hey, boss. So I started in admin in Saint Martin Parish. Now I'm an admin with Cotefield, the state agency that runs the French Immersion program in a small part of what we do. So I went from handling 20 teachers here to 150 statewide. And we have about 40 schools, French Immersion schools in the state. We know what we're doing. And when it came to my attention that you need a plan for San Juan Parish, for Catahoula for the reopening, and I'm not an expert in all of that, but I feel like that might be maybe plan A or B or C, or it's worth considering maybe opening a French Immersion school in Catahoula. We have in the state small charter schools. We have big charter schools. We have public school. We have a private school in New Orleans. So we're well versed in entertaining all kinds of ideas about French immersion for Catahoula. And like Ms. Hutchins said, not just for the kids from there, but if it's a charter school or you open the school to other neighboring communities, you could attract people to go to that place for French immersion school. So my office is ready and willing to work with you guys to think about how, what it could, what it could look like. I mean, I have a bunch of ideas, but before we put pen to paper, I just wanted you to know that we're there to work on a plan if y'all interested in French immersion in Catahoula.
Richard,
Questions?
how many people do you have?
Well, she don't have to figure this.
Sir?
Teachers.
Teachers.
You said teachers?
No, the thing that I want to point out is both of them have mentioned something like, sounds like a charter school. Now,
It can be charter or not charter.
I think it's November, I had on my agenda, and I didn't want to say specific Catahoula, but I wish I thought it, to get a legal opinion from the Attorney General if we can have any school in this parish as a charter. I never met Catahoula if I didn't want to, but in the back of my mind, that's what I was thinking about. All right, a charter school, Catahoula, charter school, run by the school board, Richard. Okay, so I was all in favor. If you open the school in my area, Richard, the Huron School, before back to early, if you open it tomorrow morning, you have 300 kids needing to see you to go there. Now, being I said it, the other, now, my IG made, and I presented it, I heard it. Don't bring it up, Michael and, y'all remember that? Or you want me to bring my head?
Okay.
All
right.
That's all I wanted to
We
say.
want to listen to the speaker, so the next
Yes.
speaker.
We're here, call me, you got my number.
Okay.
Listen, the one who.
We had both numbers are also working on a plan also, but we won't reveal our plan until a certain time. Alright. So, the next speaker.
Good evening. Thank y'all so much for taking the time. Come closer, yes, sir. Yeah, my name's Will McGrew from New Orleans, Louisiana. You have to say my address here? No, I'm just joking. That's not the school board, they can say your address. But, so thank y'all so much for taking the time and for your service to the parish. I think it's like one of the most important jobs, obviously, fighting for the next generation. I imagine it's kind of a thankless job sometimes, especially because I know y'all have other jobs too. Like I said, I'm here because I think, and like Peggy said, I think this kid, it's been an obstacle and a headache, but I think we have a huge opportunity potentially for Catahoula, but also I think for the parish as a whole. I founded a media company with my co-founder from Lafayette, Drake, called Louisiana. And what we do is we create jobs in our small towns by advising organizations on how we can use our language and culture, the Creole and Cajun language and culture especially, to create media and share our culture with the world so that kids don't have to leave and go to big cities, but we can just stay here and have opportunities here. And I think one of the speakers before said she was really proud to be Cajun. I find that for so many of our people in Louisiana, they're proud to be Creole or Cajun. And so we should be able to stay in our small communities. And so I got in touch with the Catahoula Elementary group through some work we did in Flemington in Lower Terrebonne Parish, where about a year ago the school board voted to close the school. And against all odds, we were able to get the school reopened for the next school year as a special state school with a $3 million supplementary budget for a school of just about 100 students. And so obviously this is a different environment, but it's similar. It's a small town. And I think it shows that it's a majority Native American school, but it shows that there's a possibility here to turn this obstacle into an opportunity. And I think it's a false dichotomy between reducing segregation and keeping the school open. I believe that there's a third path, and I think our experience working with other schools shows us that there's a third path where we can keep the school open and increase funding, increase enrollment, and increase outcomes in this school and schools across the parish by transitioning to French immersion. And so basically, I would encourage y'all to, I know you're working on your own plans, but to kind of consult some of the other stakeholders in the state that can help y'all have a great plan for Catahoula, but then also use that as a model. I understand you already have a French immersion program in Tesh, but to use those two as a model to have French immersion schools in any program, whether it's majority Cajun, majority Creole, majority white, majority black, any school that wants it, any school where the parents want it, we should make it available. And that would be a huge opportunity for both keeping, one, our community schools alive. Every community deserves a school. We shouldn't condemn this community to losing its population and property values by closing the school. But secondly, and potentially more importantly to y'all, because y'all have to run the budget, is what we see in New Orleans is it actually increases the funding for the school district. Because what happens is that you get a set funding that comes from Codafil, $20,000 per teacher, and you also get access to new funding from the potential new funding. Yes, sir.
No, I was just thinking, of course, I forgot her name, Miss Stain.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And she can tell you all the details on that. But then you also open up new funding. So for example, with Pointe-aux-Chênes, that $3 million doesn't include the funding that we got, that will come with the French immersion teachers. It's just because of the opportunity that we created, the way we pitched it, the way we turned an obstacle into an opportunity, and then it made the state and international partners more interested. The other reason, I think, is that it will increase outcomes. All the evidence shows that the French immersion schools increase the outcomes for the students, both in French, but also in all the other subjects. And then the final reason, the most importantly, is that reopening Catahoula Elementary as part of a broader plan to increase French immersion across the district has the potential to increase funding by bringing new people into the district, bringing kids, parents that currently have their kids in private school or currently have their kids in surrounding parishes back into St. Martin Parish or to St. Martin Parish for the first time, which means new funding. And then also, because there's more students in the school and a more diverse pool of students in the school, it actually helps you meet the consent decree more effectively because you have more students to work with. And in New Orleans, I graduated from a great public high school, Benjamin Franklin High School, and I'm proud to say it was an integrated school. It was about 40% white, 30% black, 30% Asian. And the reason they were able to obtain that is because we offered things at Benjamin Franklin that were not offered in the private schools. And so all sorts of parents wanted to get their kids back in the public school system. And we've experienced the same thing with the French immersion schools in New Orleans. They're the most over-enrolled schools in our lottery system. And so I think the French immersion schools in New Orleans are a great case, and I think the Pointe-aux-Chênes Elementary School is a great case, where you can see that y'all already have plans. I know the community's been working on plans, and there's all sorts of external partners, not only in the state, but really internationally, that are ready to work with y'all to turn Catahoula into a success story, but then also make it a model so that every school and every kid in St. Landry Parish, regardless of race, gets a great education, and maybe ideally gets to have an education about their Creole and Cajun culture, which is just nowhere else in Florida. Oh, St. Martin, excuse me, I'm so sorry.
I don't want the news people to pick that up.
No, I know, we're in Arnaville a lot, so we're always confused between the two, but yeah, or St. Martin. St. Landry, we love them too. They actually have a great program up there.
Including the people at Catahoula and our next plan for Catahoula.
Of course, yeah, no, of course.
We ain't leaving them out.
Of course. Yes, sir, and one, two.
No, it's just, why we need special funding for French immersion, which we had at Tesh and Primary and other schools. And it was not support of it, but it seemed more like a charter school, which you know that is not going to have to be all about a school. It's organized that one. Well, when is it going to buy?
I would just say this. I would just say that a charter school is possible. We've worked with those too. But I think one of the reasons of keeping it a public school is in the interest of the board, because then those funds stay with the district. What you see is we have the type 2 charter schools, and that's the case of Pointe-aux-Chênes Elementary. It's a state special school. And so that money is now not going to the district, it's going directly to the entity. And so these parents seem pretty determined. And so I think if y'all work together with some of the other partners, we can keep that money in the district and ideally bring in new money. So that's a win-win. I'm sure I'm way over.
You will.
I know, yes, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
You will, what time do you, so I'll let you, okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. continue to have your thoughts and ideas, we'll get back with y'all.
We might be a good ally for y'all,
Of
with
course.
extra
Yeah.
voice.
It sounds good.
We have
Somebody,
very
in the
knowledgeable
community- at least
people on
somebody
our
in the
team.
community working.
Yeah, we have a bunch of knowledgeable people with lots of ideas. So I've been in contact with a bunch of people right now, so we have a lot of balls in motion right now. So
Thank you.
y'all
Most
can-
of the requests. Mr. Nutt.
All right, now, I have two items. The second one that I have, I don't really understand if it's
Plus,
here
5 minutes.
with, Speeder, but I'd like to do that one first, but it won't take a couple of minutes, all right?
Yes, sir.
All of you should be familiar with the property I'm talking, like on Grand Point Road. Years and years ago, until the Justice Department shut it down, it was Grand Point School for the colored children, all right? It's one apartment, it's right next to the Farm Merchant Bank, okay? Again, and those who are familiar with it, up until 5 years ago, there was a building that was, school. Now, the property is being leased now to the parish government. And it's limestone, it was on my main agenda, so I think I brought it up on tonight, right? We have discussed it in the past, but when I had on the main agenda, I didn't know if we should decide to sell it, lease it, or keep it. Now, in the last few months, I've had 2-3 business, would you consider selling? And I was very frank, but I do not think the board would be in favor of selling. But when, I do recall in the last 2 weeks, the thing with the tower kind of got me to think, maybe consider a long-term lease for it. Now, some of the business called, actually, the reason they called me is because at one time, that area was in my district. Then it went to the Electric district, and now it's more. So they realized it 3 or 4 times because, now, they are concerned about, first of all, the site, Rhineman Village Business District. But their concern right now is, can we buy? I said, no, consider a lease. Secondly, they are very, very concerned about all the signs that are being put on the property. Is it legal for us to put a sign? What can we do? And I believe 1 or 2 of them are on there with electricity. I don't know who's paying for that electricity in the parish. Now, I'm not it because the parish used to have a barn back there with electricity. This is on this side. So we need to get the administration and the attorney involved. Now, I've already talked in May, before May, I had talked to Chester Sears. He had told me, point blank, that given enough notice, he can pull out of that, but he probably said 2 or 3 months. I mean, 6 or 7 months. So, I don't know if we need a motion, if I'll make it, and we turn it over to the administration and the attorney to basically see who owns those signs. Are they paying someone? What is needed to remove those signs? That type of stuff. So, and then,
Well, not to cut Mr. Knott short, but Mr. Stelly has been on top since probably before last time you put that on. He's been questioning about the signs and everything. So Mr. Stelly had kind of got, he and I with Mr. Blanchard to research to see who's the signs for, if they okayed it with the parish government, if there's any funds coming in. And he was actually in the process of getting with Mr. Boyer to do all that. So not to cut you short. So just leave it up to staff and they're gonna get back with us on it and take it there because, like you said, I don't think it's wise to sell it right now.
Right.
I think you sit on it and use the
Yeah,
property.
I'd like to make a motion that we postpone any motion on this. Staff looks into it.
You know, are you familiar with Cajun Palms?
Yes.
The road that goes
Oh,
into
where the
Cajun
old
Palms?
parish barn was?
Correct, that piece of property. That's actually school board property.
Oh, that's school board.
But the parish government, since I can remember, there were, they always, it used to be a voting precinct also.
Right.
So that's what it said, so that's it.
So we'll give
we
that-
give it a motion to.
No.
He's already emailed me about it.
But again,
So if you bring something back to the board, all
all right, that's it.
Okay. All right.
All right, the next one,
All right, Floyd.
we got a ruler on here.
Floyd.
Yeah, one or two, you come up here.
We did
Anyway,
that.
you know, it's very difficult. I got told them,
Floyd,
what's going on?
address- Floyd, you cannot do that, Floyd. Address the board.
I'll address the board.
Okay. Because you asked for more.
You know, at a special board meeting, I was greeted when I left. And I said a few things, and I want to address them today. So it'd be nice if one or two would come up here so bad. All right? And I told them, I think some of them, because they were shouting so loud, that they didn't like it, all right? That's more than any people shouting.
No, we love your wife.
I know exactly how that was. So anyhow, I did tell them, I'm gonna say something next board meeting. For 28 years, I walk through that front door, I generally come in prepared, the best I can, I listen to the debate, and I leave through that front door. All right? I don't need a policeman, I go to the people, a lot like me, all right?
That's right.
Now, it's very difficult before not prepared. I said, oh, by the way, I will tell you, I went back home with a small problem. The first thing my wife said, all those people that really like me. Thank you for complimenting my wife. All right.
She knows we like her.
You have to put up with it. All right, anyhow. Now,
I'm Ms. Rose.
now, here is something you all know, all right? And it's difficult to be in a position where I say things in the executive session. I say something, and I can't say it in here. Follow what I'm saying? All right, but anyhow, I'll do the
I'm
best
tired of that.
can
I
today.
don't know this.
Now, I'm over here, step by step, all right? Keep on throwing it at me, and I'll don't. 10, 12 years ago, I voted on the motion to close Chattanooga. All right, I did. And if I had to vote again today, I would do the same thing. And I'll tell you the reason why. I lived right next to St. Landry, back a mile, less than a mile, and they had just gone through that same thing. And if you think when you got problems, nothing compared to St. Landry. They shut down schools all over. They bus kids from Leonville all the way to Grand Coteau. They forced people to resign, and they wound up at Cecilia High School, Cecilia School. And when they came in and they said, either close Catahoula or S. All right? I think in my mind.
Tell them what you told me.
Right, I'm saying. And it didn't affect anything because it's still good.
Let them have y'all kids.
My vote,
so they don't take off.
didn't affect anything, all right? I will agree with it, all right? And I was concerned about St. Andrew having to fund, they were poor parish like us. They spent millions of dollars. They thought they were out of the hole. And then at the end, when they got unified school district, the justice report comes in and says, here is another deal. You have to pay all of those lawyers. And that's exactly where we are. St. Martin Parish. We keep on saying, we don't attach news, it's a 1.2 million, 1.7. One day, we're gonna get unified and they say, well, here is our other $2 million. So I thought about it, didn't know how to vote, but when they said, close Catahoula, and 3 months from now, it's over. We'll be unified. I made that decision, all right? I was kidding again. I hope you understand, all right?
Yeah, you told me,
Right.
we let them have y'all
But
kids.
you said it was to save, but you said it was to save your children, right? Save your children, right?
12
Close
years.
Catahoula and save your
Okay, let him
children.
finish.
I'll give you a minute.
I like it, all right? No, the last 10 years, 12 years, whatever, I didn't go to research. In executive session, any board member here is willing, who wants to tell the truth. I have not once, make a motion, not support Catahoula. Try to keep it open, after it's closed, and I will go one step further. I'm all on the one. The only board member who ever made proposed 2 plans to reopen it, all right? on the board member.
Okay, but if y'all would.
And then, and after I left every board meeting, in an executive session, when I left the executive session, ordinarily, we always say, we disagree, but at least when we get out of there, let us be together. Right, Richard?
Yes, sir.
And I voted once or twice for a motion that I did not feel like voting for. But I went over here, I'll bring one to in a few minutes, all right? Follow me, Mr. Park? All right.
Well, you get
Yeah, you told me.
All right. Now, you do not know how many times I read this Bible right here. All right? I've got so many clips of my notes. I would like to go over a very few of them, all right? And I want to be fair. There was a young lady here at a special meeting, the other day, who came in, and I said, I want to hear what you say.
That's Eleanor.
All right?
Oh, what's her name?
And then I said, people need to be heard. I promised her that when we came out of the executive session, that she would be heard, all right? Whether you agree with me or not, I think it should be heard. That is why, and you all noticed, that was board meeting.
Well, the time is up. Your time is
I
up.
got the same, I should have brought my book, I'm gonna try, if I put something on agenda, I'm in 9 to 20 minutes, all right?
All we ask of y'all is for more transparency.
All right.
Everything's in
All right,
executive
now.
session and we never know what's going on. And it affects our
All right.
kids, it affects our school, it affects our
Go
community.
ahead, Floyd.
And it affects the parish.
Okay, he wants me to hurry. Okay, now, I reread this. Paper clip. Now, I said, let me reread one more time to see why did the judge would agree to this, all right? Well, she gave, and you can reread it. The first thing she comes up, the first thing was the Catahoula was built by a bunch of white people in that, and
That's Steve Fusion like that, it's
But
that
listen.
build that. That's not Catahoula
you
School.
can argue with the Justice Department
That's
all
not
you
Catahoula.
want. You'll be wasting time. They lost the Civil War.
That's misinformation.
That is misinformation, but those people are from Boston and so forth. They come over here and tell us what our history is. So that's the first point that she made, all right? The second point that she made in here is that she divided the parish into Cecilia, Forage, and Marshall, right? Cecilia, no problem, integration, Forage, none. Each of those have 2 feeder schools, Forage has 2. St. Martin, the smallest area, has 3, right? So that's the second point that she's making. That's the word, all right? The third point she makes in here, man.
What does it say, high school out of the board?
Then she says, the staff was totally unprepared. You agree with that or no?
Absolutely.
All right. Now, I'm hoping this time we have a suit now. I'm hoping that the staff is better prepared.
Some of them kind of blew it this last time too.
So anyhow, and then the fourth reason, I've got to pay, I think it's in the 70s, she said, before I make up a decision, you'll have never presented a plan, never. So I will make it for you. And the reason, one of the reasons, the fourth reason, she says, I had examined all of the schools in the parish, and the one in the most, and I'll use the one like that word, the worst physical condition is in Catahoula. How can that happen?
Maybe she needed to not take a
How
visit.
can that happen, that a judge has to close the school because it's in deplorable condition when we have all the bond money? And as far as I know, the St. Margaret
Have y'all been
area,
to the
your
school? It's not
area,
in the normal condition.
your area,
I
might
want to correct you on
remember.
that before the judge hear that. The judge said Forage Junior High. Well, the most, that's why she did spend $4 million with it.
All right.
Because she's listening, believe me.
No, but
We might go straight, she might give us a contempt of court today.
I'm just telling you, like, Richard, I got all the
I'm saying,
pages.
Floyd.
Sure to you.
Now, you have four board members, you have a federal fund, you have four Grangers doing the charge of maintenance, you have a new one from San Martin area. How in the world would y'all let that school be in such terrible condition according to the judge? All right? That's not my word, that's hers here. All right?
Okay, but,
Okay, now.
look, hey, you
You're about to get
you got
into
20
yourself in
minutes,
trouble.
but look, you got 60, almost 17 minutes right now, and I gotta give
All
the
right.
minutes.
Now, look.
Mr. Flores.
I'm gonna meet him in your pizza.
I want you to
I'll
say,
tell you what, you wanna
do me a favor,
and you can make a motion.
how many did you take?
Yeah, but I wanna address something.
What?
No, do me a favor.
Mr. Flores.
Hold on.
I'm gonna roll out. I'm gonna roll out.
Well, I got the same problem. But that is at the June 1 meeting, a motion was made here, and I voted yes. I was Martin County, there.
Mr. Flores. Mr. Flores. Mr. Flores.
There you go.
Somebody wanna.
Mr. Flores.
Man,
Excuse me.
man,
Go ahead.
You address colored lady. You need to say black lady.
man, I will tell you,
African American.
man, I hate to correct you, but on a genealogy. In St. Martin Parish, 1957, we had no black people.
Yeah, but that's.
We had colored people. We had schools for colored people.
Yeah, black or African American. Yes,
We got a motion.
let's stop.
You wanna be the we got a motion to go executive session. By Mr. Bossie, second by Mr. All in favor? Aye.
Make a motion on the first item to give staff the authority to hire discipline and magnet school consultants.
We got a motion by Mr. Booty, second by Mr. Clay. Vote.
I'll vote no.
Any nays? One nay, motion carried. Second resolution, this is you say, Mr. Johnson. You say, they accept the GSA resolution.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Johnson, second by Mr.
We're
Booty.
discussing,
Mr. Poche, before we vote, I'd like to allow Ms. Morgan Brungard with the AG's office to explain.
Right. Come on up.
Good evening. The resolution that is on the table is a series of listening sessions. The board, because the Fifth Circuit reversed the closure of Catahoula Elementary School, the board now has several decisions it needs to make about the reopening of the school, when and how, and the other student assignment remedies that the court is considering, including the magnet school and some of the other ones. And so the board needs to develop a new plan, and the board has decided to hold some listening sessions to get community input on each of those things. And that's the resolution that they will be voting on right now. Is there anything else you wanted me to explain?
That's it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Richard,
Yes, sir, Mr.
we
Knapp.
call the vote, have a discussion. Don't cut me short before the meeting.
Well, yeah,
But you say a few things, well, just very short, concerning this. I was to the point where I was gonna ask that certain lady came in Catahoula to tell them why I voted no, all right? And very simple, just a second. Before the meeting, the special meeting, the four people who called me, I told all four of them that I would only vote for motions that has a plan to open Catahoula as soon as possible. That motion did not do it, and this one does not. However, I have always supported in executive session, let's make it unanimous. I'd like to vote no on this, but to keep it unanimous, I would vote, I'll sign it, all right?
All right.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We have a motion and a second. Vote. All in favor? Any nay? One nay. Is veto.
Oh, she voted no?
Is that all your kids? Look like y'all will be going to Catahoula. All in favor? All in favor? No nays, one nay. Okay, your motion to.
Five B was tabled after.
Okay, 5B. That's the resolution for special counsel.
Yes,
Mr. Evac,
but they're asking for a rate
from 125 to 175.
and possibly up to a max of 225, is that correct?
Yeah, yes, Mr. Mayor, and I can briefly explain it while we're in public too. The special counsel resolution, that we presented to the board has two components. The first component, as special counsel, our fee structure was set, according to the 2008 fee structure of the Attorney General. We're asking that to be updated to the current fee structure, which the maximum right now is $150 an hour. The maximum under the Attorney General's schedule right now would be $225 an hour. The second component of the special counsel resolution also includes provisions to that the Attorney General's office would receive notice of any settlement agreement or consent order in federal cases, which would include the DSA case. So that's two components of the special counsel resolution.
For the dollar amounts, I would like to interject after discussion with the fellow board members, is to have a cap at 175 instead of the 225. Being that, and listen, I was always against giving raises, but again, the light of the way the inflation has gone up and everything. But the other thing, like we pointed out to you guys, is we can't be paying 7 or 8 attorneys at one time. Please, reflect that to Mr. Hammond.
Yes, sir.
And we'll cap it out at 175, but I'd also like to also, for a future meeting, is also look at our possible attorney over here, like with the lady said over there, that maybe we look at possibly talking about his other also. Well, if y'all want to give him the same up to 175, we can do it right now too. So we're gonna include that also, and then,
Hold on, what you, getting at?
Well, the only thing I would say, the only thing I would say, and I would certainly say that Mr. Boyer deserves it.
No, we need
okay,
The
let's
distinction,
bring his back at the next board, if you don't mind, put that on the agenda.
And if you retroactive after this month.
and I would suggest that too, Mr. Abear, because there is a distinction with special counsel and general counsel.
So we would like to cap it out at 175 because we're already.
I understand, I certainly understand, sir, and I thank you, and I will express, what we discussed to Mr. Hammond, and yes, sir, thank you.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Bennett,
second.
second by Mr. Bolte, vote.
What are we going on?
The cap be 175, it went from 125 to 175. And we have, unanimous. Motion carried. Motion to adjourn. Motion.
I'll have a good one, I'll go to my mom. What was the second information?